With an over 40-year tradition of excellence and service, Athens Orthopedic Clinic has been a leader in the sports community. An experienced medical team makes Athens Orthopedic Clinic the best choice for orthopedic care. We utilize state-of-the-art equipment and offer services such as MRI, physical and occupational therapy, urgent care center, and ambulatory surgical center. We provide the highest quality care while maintaining a personalized touch. Athens Orthopedic Clinic, serving Georgia athletes for over 40 years and a proud supporter of the GymDogs.
Hi, my name's Lynn. Marcia, what's your favorite memory as a Georgia GymDog?
Thanks for the question, Lynn. And actually my best memory as a team was when we won my first year national championship, because the two seniors went down right before, and just to know that as a team we brought it back together and nailed it, it was awesome. That was my best memory.
Welcome back to the Georgia GymDog Show, recapping the 2010 SEC Championship. Georgia going 49-025 on bars, 49-225 on beam. Let's start by talking about bars, which Georgia had third. I think here, absent some of the scores that we're used to seeing from some of Georgia's upperclassmen performers, the two sophomores, Gina Nuccio and Kat Ding, stepped up. Gina Nuccio with a great 9.85, and then Kat Ding following that with a 9.925 to capture the Southeastern Conference individual title on bars. I thought obviously stood out in the 4 and 5 positions for Georgia as the highlight of this rotation.
Well, Kat actually made Gina actually made a mistake in that routine, and the Ginger got in a little bit close, but she covered it. She kipped Kat's handstand and did the overshoot to handstand and actually gave herself another D release in the routine. By doing so, we've practiced that as her cover when she feels like she's in a little bit close on the Ginger, and that's something that she does, and so it minimizes any deduction that might otherwise be there. And then of course Kat was just Kat. Kat did what Kat does all year long, and that's good to see from a sophomore to be able to do that. You know, it was one of those things that after Marcia had the break, they were both up on the podium, and I walked over to them and I said, guys, just take a deep breath and do your bar routines. It's not, you know, we can't tighten up here. I kind of wish McCool had been up on the podium at that point, because I didn't get a chance to get to her before she did her dismount. Trying too hard to be perfect, and that's really what she was trying to do, was trying to stick.
Well, looking at beam, Georgia needing to bounce back from a fall. I know you always talk about the break in momentum that is, and again, as we saw earlier on in the season, a regular season O-meet, it came down to two freshmen needing to both hit. Yeah. Noelle Couch does, followed by Krista Tanella. Then you get the high score from Grace with the 9.925. I thought just a phenomenal response in a huge pressure situation and away from home this time to be able to bounce back from a fall early in the rotation and hit the next four to get back into it. Again, 49.225, not enough to get Georgia to the top of the podium at the end of the meet, but to be able to bounce back and really prevent this from veering off in the wrong direction.
Yeah, and Noelle, you mentioned Noelle. I mean, again, she came through in the clutch, and that's why I said earlier in the show, she has to be our MVP for this meet in terms of the overall performance. We got a freshman doing what you expect from upperclassmen, and that's a true testament to her and to her commitment level and her mental approach. I was really, really pleased to see that. That's going to bode well for us down the road for sure. But if you'd have told me that going into this meet that all we were going to need was a 49.25 on the uneven bars and we would have won the meet, I'd have laid money on that one, baby, because I really felt like, you know, if that was all it was going to take, all we had to do was be average on those two events and we would have been fine. But, you know, lesson learned, and we'll just continue to move forward. That's all we can do.
We'll talk some more about the 2010 postseason when we continue on the Georgia GymDog Show.
Dismount of the Week brought to you by McDonald's, and this week's dismount is actually a vault. It's Hillary Morrow's vault, her Yurchenko 1.5 for a stuck landing, earning her a 9.9 and the portion of the SEC Championship on vault. That's Dismount of the Week, brought to you by McDonald's.
Drop by drop, pure, refreshing. A trickle becomes a stream, flowing from the source. Refreshing, fresh, pure. In the store or at your door. Millwood Springs.
Countdown to the NCAA is brought to you by Millwood Springs. We take a look at the Columbia Regional. This is where the GymDogs will be heading Saturday, April 10th for the regional round. Number 5, Georgia, will be competing against number 8, Oregon State. The host school is number 15, Missouri, another team out of the top 25, number 25, Minnesota, as well as Iowa and North Carolina. That's the Columbia, Missouri Regional, and that's the countdown to the NCAA is brought to you by Millwood Springs. Welcome back to the Georgia GymDog Show here with head coach Jay Clark. Coach, looking at coming off of this SEC championship, I think one thing that bears mentioning is these gymnasts have been used to not winning the SEC championship and coming back and winning an NCAA championship. Florida won in 07, Georgia wins the title in Salt Lake, Alabama wins last year in 09, Georgia comes back and wins the title in Lincoln, Nebraska. So absolutely nothing has been determined last weekend. There's 2 weekends where you can win a championship trophy, and one of them is still coming up at the end of April.
Well, I think more than that, Kevin, it's even the fact that we in those 2 losses at the SEC championship in 08 and 09, we had mistakes, and I think what it has done is in 08 we stepped out of bounds 4 times. In 09 we fell off the beam in the first rotation. What it's done is sharpened us. Regardless of who's won or lost the SEC championship, what it's done is it's given us a dry run, and we've kind of worked the kinks out in those 2 years. That's going to be, we're going to have to beat that drum again for sure, and we have certainly had a lot of success coming out of some SEC championships where we have not done as well as we thought we were going to do, and then turning it around and doing well at nationals. But the first task is to get to nationals, and we can't just overlook regionals. I mean, that's not it used to be a sleeper years ago, but now it's so competitive, and there's so much parity now that you've really got to be on your P's and Q's for regionals, and so we've got to get prepared and go into regionals and do that.
Well, one thing that Georgia got a taste of is what it's going to be like to compete in the state of Florida for a championship meet. Not going to get any easier dealing with that Gator contingent when the national championship moves to Gainesville, Florida. So important to see that same level of fan support from Georgia. Those folks that made it down to Jacksonville, maybe a few others too, coming down to Gainesville for the national championship.
There's no question. We need our fans to get down there. We need our fans to come out in numbers. And if you can at all make it to Gainesville for the national championships after we qualify, we'd love to have you down there, because our kids really feed off that energy. They really, really do. And part of the reason we perform so well at home is because they get that energy from their fans in a lot of ways. And our fans are a big part of what we do. They're a big part of our tradition. They're a big part of every facet of this program, and we really need their support.
We'll be back next week to preview the NCAA Regional, as well as take a look inside the GymDogs program. We'll have an off-week show next week, and then, again, Georgia getting ready for the 2010 regional round of the NCAA postseason. That's all for this edition of the Georgia GymDog Show. For head coach Jay Clark, I'm Kevin Kopp. We'll see you next week. Thanks for watching, everybody, and good night.
The Georgia GymDog Show has been brought to you by Melwood Springs. Melwood Springs from the Blue Ridge Mountains of North Georgia. The 10-0 Booster Club. The 10-0 Booster Club, the official booster club of the Georgia Gymnastics team. Athens Orthopedic Clinic. Athens Orthopedic Clinic, serving Georgia athletes for over 40 years. And by Alpha Factor. Alpha Factor, the official gymnastics apparel worn by the GymDog.